Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know already, my name is Felix Sesenyo Adofo and I'm a software engineering student of the Ghana Communication Technology University. Today is the beginning of my tutorials for programming with C++ and I'll be walking you through the syntax of C++ programming and what do you need to know as a programmer using C++. So in this video, we will explore what C++ is, why it is so useful, how it differs from C, its original code, its original language, sorry, and we will touch on object-oriented programming concepts and the C++ standard library. Yeah. So to begin with, C++ was developed by Jan Stroop, an extension of the C language. It's a general purpose compiled and object-oriented programming language. Yeah. So as I said, C++ is an object-oriented programming language, whilst C is a procedural programming language. So it is known for its speed, efficiency, and control over system resources. Unlike the C, its its origin, sorry. So why do we still learn C++ programming in 2025? It's still used in game development, in AI, in finance, in operating systems, in embedded systems. Well, there are many languages like the C sharp, the Java, which, but these two specifically were inspired by the C++ programming. And C++ also teaches core programming concepts deeply, great for serious programmers here. So if you want to really be a serious programmer, good in your programming, you should try C++. And how do you try? By following me through my tutorials. Yeah. So here we will be dealing on the differences between C++ and C. So with the programming style, as I've said earlier, the C is a procedural language, whilst the C++ is an object-oriented programming language and a procedural programming language as well. Yeah. And then with the code organization, the C language uses functions, while the C++ uses classes and objects. And also with the standard libraries, it is basic for C but rich for C++. And with the basic, I mean for the C, we use things like stdio.h for the header files, whilst for the C++, we use IOStream, STL, and what have you. And its extensibility, well, the C program is harder to scale and the C++ is easier to manage. It's easier to manage large programs, but with the C, it's harder to scale, as I've said. So let's compare two codes of the C++ programming language and the C programming language and we continue from there. So I'll be using my CodeBlocks IDE. So you create a new project. We use our console application. Then we will continue from there. C++. Then I'll name this one tutorial 1. Enter. And I finish. So automatically the CodeBlocks IDE will give you an outlook for the C++ program. Yeah. So this is a typical C++ program. Now let me walk you through C program. Let me walk you through the C program. So with the C program, you use things like hash include. It's similar though, it's somehow similar due to the reason that C++ originated from C program. So sorry, we use std input and output. So this one stands for, you see, it's even generating it because that's its originator. Then we use int main. That's our main outstream as it is giving me. Because I chose C++, it's giving me everything about C. And since C++ was originated from the C program, it is giving me its things as well. So with the C program, if you want to output hello world, we'll do it this way. Print f, then parentheses, then two stubborn boys. Sorry. Hello world. Then C in C slash n. Very good. So we are making progress over here. C slash n. Then we terminate our line with a semicolon. Then we return 0. Since we used an integer as our main function, we need to return 0, right? So this code here is a simple code from C++, which was developed from the C program by Bijan Shoestrap. And then this code down here is a simple code from the C program, which is the originator or the origin of the C++ program. So let's continue. So continue with the object-oriented programming concepts in C++. We begin with encapsulation. So what is encapsulation? It is, as you know, the capsules that we take, there's something in it. So definitely bundling data and methods that operate on data within one unit as a class. So we have a lot of drugs, let me say a lot of elements which have been grinded in a powder form and then placed in a capsule that we take. It does a lot of things in our body though, but it's only one thing that we take. So that's what we call encapsulation, right? And then we also have the second concept known as inheritance. So with the inheritance, a class can obtain the objects or the properties of another class, just as the normal word inheritance brings to us, simply that way. Then the third one is polymorphism. So one function with many forms, and this is achieved through function overloading and overriding. In our sections, in our tutorials to come, I'll take you through functions and then we learn about overriding and overloading. And then the fourth one is abstraction. So with the abstraction, just as we know abstract nouns, we cannot feel, we cannot see, and that and that. With abstraction for C++ as a concept, it is like hiding complex implementations details and then showing only the essential ones we should see, just as that. So let's move on with the standard library component, which is the input output. So when you look at even our code here, we can see IOStream, meaning the input and output, we stream it. This one too, you see input and output, and then you see the standard here from the standard library. This one too, you can see the standard here. Yes, so they are the same, just that let me say C++ program is an advancement on the C program. Yes, so in explaining, the IOStream is used for inputs and outputs, and then the C we have it uses C in for the inputs and C out for the outputs. When I was launching my IDE to begin my work, I used console application. So the C in stands for console input. So whatever we input from the console, we the computer takes it in. So console input, it takes it. Simple as that. And then the console output, the same concept. So what's a console? A console is um, a text-based user interface with which the programmer communicates with the person in contact with the program. Yeah. So let's continue. So with the C out in the scene, it uses an insertion operator and an extraction operator. So the insertion operator is used for the C out, and then the extraction operator is used from the scene. So the extraction, it's like it corresponds with the C in the sense that it extracts whatever we inputted from the console into the system, then the system takes it. Thank you very much for understanding. We can also use get line in parentheses C in slash the name you want to give to the thing. When you are using the get line function, it is just getting it's just a it just takes all the elements on a line. That's why you say get line. But when you use the C in, it just takes the first one. So let's say in the output it was Kofi is going to school. When you use the C in, it will take Kofi. When you use the get line, it will take Kofi is going to school. Very good. Thank you for understanding. So we are making progress small, small. We are making progress. So I'll take you quickly through a quick recap. So the C++, it gives you control and performance. And also the C++ is an object-oriented programming with object-oriented power. So let me say it's a C program with object-oriented power. So the C program is a procedural program language, and then the C++ is a procedural and an object-oriented programming language. So let me say the C plus object-oriented power. And then so object-oriented programming helps to organize big projects. That's why it was developed, um, unlike the C program. And also the input and output in C++ is clean and powerful compared to the one in C program. So in closing for this our first tutorial, I'll say C++ program might seem too hard at first, but it's one of the most rewarding languages to master. It's very good and it is used for the powerful softwares that we normally use, like games, your favorite game, Call of Duty, and all the stuffs. So stay tuned, and in the next videos we will write real C++ codes or C++ programs together. So till we meet again, it's bye for now. I'm Felix. Peace out.